Hey guys, welcome to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Commander Cockins. This feels slightly off.
This does. Hold on a second. There's a little handle here. I'm gonna.
Oh,
that's better. There we go. Turn that handle.
There's one in mine too. The 2019 visual update. It works. It actually looks, feels, and works the same, Stuart. It's a miracle.
Now,
Discovery kept something.
Okay, Trekyards Command. We got to set our destination, and hopefully the ride to Trekyards Command is exactly the same length as our conversation, because that's just how it works. Hi guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley.
To be fair, on Commander Cockins, there might be like a subroutine in the Turbolift that says wait for you to finish the conversation, and so just kind of like you know. Any kind of AIs when you think you're going to talk. Because, I mean, sometimes you just want to finish talk in the elevator. Sometimes you want to get out of the elevator. And what if you have to split off? What if it knows, Spock's going somewhere, someone's going else? Maybe take 30 more seconds. It's fine. We'll go around, we'll do laps. Laps around the ship.
You just overcomplicated the Turbolift systems, but that's fine.
Stuart, we've seen that in Discovery they are roller coasters, so I think they've done that for us. But
luckily, God, don't even
on
start
the Enterprise, they haven't made roller coasters. They have common sense turbolifts, we assume, hopefully. Stuart, we're talking turbolifts.
We are. And I gotta say, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, that's awesome, because it was very true to form. You got the little handle. He didn't hold on to the handle, which you're kind of supposed to in TOS. That was kind of the thing. But whatever. He turned it, set his destination, and then stood in front of the door, which is fine. I assume there's just different settings for that. But to be fair, I saw the corridor first when they were evacuating Discovery, and the corridor was kind of underwhelming for me. It was kind of like, ugh, a little bit overdone with the red. But then this was the first part of the interior of the Enterprise that we saw that I really liked on the way to the bridge, which of course is awesome as well. But so I was happy to see it. That's where I stand with the first impression. How about yours?
It's funny. I hadn't even considered this. When we were seeing the bridge, we knew we were going to see the bridge. I hadn't even considered what other things we'd see necessarily, because they all take money to do. But the fact is, this is a little tube that is a day build, which is great. They put the money into doing it because, yes, why wouldn't you? And the Discovery one is, big, it's advanced, it's got screens, it's a whole thing. For better and for worse, it's a turbolift. But like with everything in the Enterprise, we know what the turbolift looks like. We know it from multiple shows, multiple times. So what do they do? Stuart, they actually build a turbolift. And as we've sort of argued for years now, you need to visually update things, because we're not arguing for literally the same, Ticonderoga looking sets. That would be weird. But just take what's there before, visually update it just enough, but keep the original shapes, because those are all still valid. You just modernize the inner details, a la go from stand def to high def. Wow, in high def I never saw all this detail. Do that rather than saying let's use this thing, change it 87%, and call it Star Trek. So it's nice that we see another set where, yeah, it's actually a turbolift. A bog standard, simple, no effort, simple tube, clear, simple turbolift. And it looks great.
It's a great visual update. And one of the things I did notice from Where No Man Has Gone Before, as we see here in 2265, and I noticed this way before this picture came out, that the turbolift wasn't really a thing back then. It's like they hadn't built the set yet, because it's just like a squared off section. It almost looks like the same grading up above as right at the above the turbolift on entrance on the bridge. So I'm glad they eventually designed a turbolift. I do like the lights, the show you which direction you're going, either side to side or up and down. I don't think each light represents a deck. Otherwise, we would have so many conversations about how wrong it is. Again, based on conversation length. We've seen super fast, would turn you to jelly, plaster you against the wall, even if you had inertial dampeners rides. You've also had super, super slow turbolift rides.
We've seen inside of the turbolift shaft in TOS Remastered, I believe, and also in some fan films, which are based on TOS Remastered, and it's still just a simple tube. It's very much just an elevator in reality, a lift, just more advanced and can go multiple directions. So, if they were lights in the tube to signify like half decks or whatever, and as you went up and down, you just saw that, that would be easy. But yeah, I mean, although I appreciate that they are in the Where No Man, because how do we make the single white room be interesting? Well, let's make lights go up and down. That implies motion. Although I never realized this because I haven't watched Where No Man for a long time, is that actually there's actually a really good shot, because they walk in from a corridor, the shot never stops, and they walk out onto the bridge. So they had to put a wall on the bridge to allow them to then look as if they came through a corridor. It's seamless. It's like, wow, that's actually a intricate shot that obviously we see later on as no big deal, but it's like that is the turbolift attached to the bridge, and they just fake this great transition between decks, and it's a really well done.
Yeah, it's cool when they do things like that, because it keeps you in the moment. There's no cuts. It's like, oh, this is realistic. This is awesome, and it's just subconscious. You don't really notice it, but no, I mean, I was so pleased to see this. The handles, again, there's a nice visual update on the original. They didn't go as far out of their way to change things as they could have.
Mm-hmm. As they every other time have.
Yeah. The placement of the window at the rear is a little bit annoying to me, because there should be like two, one on each side kind of thing, but that's just me. It was a great addition to see, and like I said, it was the first moment on board the Enterprise in the internals where I kind of went, ooh, because we hadn't get to the bridge yet. So it was, after seeing the corridor, like I said, it was just obviously a redress of some of their existing corridor sets, and a little bit too colorful. So this was a nice door opens, and it's like, oh, okay, now I kind of feel like I'm home again.
And it's funny, because a lot of modern media, Star Wars, some Star Trek, is based on the nostalgia feel. Using old imagery to get the reaction. We can't sell a new thing without using an old thing. And that's not actually what we're using here. It's not actually what we're looking for, because it's not seeing the Enterprise is the nostalgia. It's what potential has in the narrative. It's not seeing this box on a wall with a handle. Ooh, it looks like this thing. It's saying the Turbolift in 2268 has this. Look, on Turbolift in 2257, it should have this. Look, they did it. Good. It's not nostalgia, it's function. It's respecting the art design and the function of this universe. It's a period piece, or it should be anyway. So it's not nostalgia so much as, well, that's actually what's in the elevator. We know it is, so build the damn thing. So it's just, approval of a correct thing. And then I will say that I think there's a better design than TOS. I'm not sure why there's a bottom rail piece, but I mean, you can easily slip off, so I guess that's why. I think it's a better design. Although, it's funny, I read a interview with Tamara Johnson, I believe, or Jackson, who is the art designer who came in the end of season 1, did all the mirror stuff, and she said about, obviously, TOS aesthetic, and she actually said, we put these handholds on the wall. Don't know what they do, never found out, but we put them on there. I'm
wow.
You never found out what they do?
Well, she disappoints me. I read a conversation with her where she said we didn't want things to look like cardboard sets. And that's the wrong kind of thinking, because those 1960s sets, that was the most expensive show being produced in the 60s. So
it's just a misunderstanding of, different people, different challenges. Art design, just that person just not able to do that sort of job. And so it's just weird that you say, we put them in to know what they do. It's like, it's obviously what they do. They're the manual control to use a turbolift. It turns it on.
There needs to be somebody there that can answer that question if they know anything about Star Trek.
And she's like the lead art design. And it's like,
I think you just hit the nail on the head with the problems with Discovery, is that not everybody is versed in the lore or have.
I remember she was a big fan of TOS. They're all big fans of TOS, though, Stuart. Yeah.
Well, they all say that. Yeah, they're contracted to, I think.
Yeah. So I just found it hilarious, because if you put me in a turbolift in Ticonderoga, say, I could tell you what everything does.
Yeah.
The three things, because it's plain just watching. I mean, maybe not identically what they do in terms of like, well, it turns motor. Does that thing turn motors? Does whatever? It's just a manual control to allow it to be on. And actually in this exact episode where Kirk's got his shirt off, which I thought was just a good example, actually does take his hand off it in between doing something else. And so I don't think it's a prerequisite,
It twists, right? So when you grab it, the light comes on. It's a voice recognition thing. You say the deck you want to go to. You can either hold it on, or like other dials, you can like push up and turn and let go, and it's still locked on, or whatever. It could also have like fingerprint or hand scanning or DNA sampling, so it knows that it's a member of the crew and not some alien intruder that's going to the bridge or something. There's so many things.
There could be speed settings. There could be.
Yes.
You know,
so many things you can work into one simple control like that that make it not only practical but extremely practical. And they never would have thought of that in the 60s, but now with our technology today, there's so many things you can add to just that one handle.
And for example, on the Discovery, you see this little button below the light. If you had like a little screen there, or like some buttons, you could have like emergency lock, you know, close like separate door controls, so that if in an emergency situation and you have to do something else, or like one's you know, turns off the gravity, but there's other things. So, you know, for example, if you've been shot, you can't say computer seal the doors. There's just a button that seals the doors. You know, you got all these functions. Just, you know, ships get attacked relatively sometimes. And one last thing on the, well, I think it's a bit shiny, too shiny a wall. It stands out. It's kind of like, really, it's just ironically, it looks like cheap plastic. It looks like a cheap buffed, but at least they've got a ceiling, which they didn't have in the TOS for most of the time, and it's very similar to TNG, which is just, yeah, I mean, why not? So I give them credit for building the full thing, because as we walk out, it's like, it does feel like a fully realised piece.
So the bottom line is we like it.
Yeah, it's great. It's simple, but the fact that it's there, it didn't need to be there, but it's there. And it respects what came before, unlike most things in the same way. It's a great indicator of if they kept doing visual update rather than do their own thing, the whole show would look better and be better.
In regards to visual updates, even, I mean, just the light strip along the bottom or along the middle there. When you're at yellow alert, it's yellow. When you're at red alert, it's red. Simple things that add to the original look. Anyway, I think we've talked enough about the Turbolift today.
Yes.
So... anyway, guys, as always, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget
one last thing, I would have gone
icon.
one step further, because I also think function beyond visual reboot is important.
Yes.
You know, put that first level of visual reboot in so it looks like very similar, but then add thought back in. I like the fact they've got MSDs in the Enterprise E. Turbolift. I would have a display showing the system layout, because I like that you can actually see the Turbolift moving as you go. See where you are.
Yeah.
And then maybe a systems display on the other screen, so you can like look at something while you go. I don't know. They're not very long journeys, but like I would have gone one step further, ironically, and had a more function in the design. If I was art designer, and I think people would be fine with that. It's like, oh yeah, of course you put a screen in there, because it's useful. You can see where you are.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, on that note, do what I just said.
Sorry. Yes,
that's okay. Like, subscribe, share, and click the notification icon. And of course, check out all of our links down below. Lots of great merchandise you can buy. Lots of great ways to save money with Eagle Moss, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff down there. So check out the links. Play around in the links area. You'll find some really cool stuff.
And of course, support us on Patreon if you'd like to. If you like what we do each week, sometimes each day, please support us on Patreon. It's a great service that you put a little bit of money each and every month that goes towards our production cost of the show, and allowing us to have confidence to keep producing the show for you all the damn time. Or a one-time donation at Trekyards.com. Also amazing. Or join our live chats every single week. Put a little bit of super chat money in to have your voice heard, and they're really grateful. We do reviews of things, because if you thought of something from this, you know, this part of this episode, like, oh my god, guys, and the chat's going by really fast because hundreds of people watching, say it for $2, and we're like, oh my god, random member of the fan base, number 6, best plan ever, and then we get to, you know, buy food, so it really helps everyone.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Hungs.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, we need that screen put in so we could have saw that things were going bad. Bye.